are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the College Loop Podcast. I'm Dylan, able to take on Twitter, talking today the latest Auburn athletics news. As your Auburn Tigers are currently 12th in the rankings by 24/7 Sports in the transfer portal department. And good Lord, Auburn is up to 32 transfers with probably a couple more on the way. And Alex Golesh has been on an absolute heater thus far. And again, we've been talking about this all offseason long. You know, the doubters are always doubting. Alex Golesh can only recruit USF talent. He's only bringing in G5 talent. All this being said by a bunch of people who aren't paying attention. And now let me remind you, Auburn now up to 32 transfers. The last 7 of them have been from the Power 4 level minus Oregon State. So Scrap Richardson, a Notre Dame athlete, wide receiver / DB, mostly going to be playing DB. Didn't really see a lot of playing time at Notre Dame, but a uber talented player that's going to be, you know, a developmental piece going forward, but a just an athletic human being to add to the roster. Picking up guys like Walter Mathis, who actually was, I think the last time we had this show, committed to Auburn while we were on air, so I didn't really have anything planned for him, but a big body D tackle to add to Auburn's depth as well. And then 3 offensive linemen, Jacob Strand out of Oregon State coming to the Tigers, TJ Hendrick, an Ole Miss offensive tackle, and then Jack Leray, a Stanford. I think he's an O lineman. He might be listed as a guard, but just loading up on the big body offensive linemen to really help cement the trenches, because it's been quite some time since Auburn's been able to do anything with an offensive line. Again, since 2017, which I do want to highlight 2017 in just a second. And then on the defense side of the ball, picking up a guy named Deshaun Womack, a former 5-star defensive lineman turned 4-star transfer, who Xavier Atkins, if you're not aware who Xavier Atkins is, he's only the best linebacker in the country that resides in Auburn, Alabama, has been hyping up this pickup ever since he entered the portal. And the best part about this is he's from St. Francis Academy in Maryland, which is adding to this pipeline that Auburn has dug over the past few seasons, which is absolutely insane. That Auburn is recruiting Maryland better than they're recruiting some in-state high schools, which I do find absolutely funny. And then the last pickup transfer, Jack Luttrell, Arizona safety, which, again, DB was always going to be an issue. And from at least what I've seen of him, he mostly played safety, but you're going to see him kind of all around the secondary during this season. So, again, overall, I mean, we've talked about all these guys, man. This is a pretty dang good transfer portal class, and I don't even think Golish is done yet. And if you're not following on Twitter, I mean, there's you got new leaks every single day about who's coming up next. But this is a big time transfer portal class, and you're going to get the haters all over the place. Going to be talking about, you know, you brought in a lot of USF guys. Sure, awesome. He had to. He completely rebuilt the wide receiver room using guys that he wants to utilize in his playbook because he recruited them to play for him at his previous venture. But then you picked up guys like, you know, St. Ferrier, and I'm just trying to make sure I find all the D tackles, and Walter Mathis and Deshaun Womack. And I think there was another edge rusher that I just can't see in my massive list. Nate Johnson out of Missouri, and Cody Sigler of Arkansas State. You spend the time and you really start building up the defensive line, giving Vontrell King-Williams a pretty deep room of D tackles to put behind Malik Autry and Jordan Crawford. And not to mention the edge rushers. I mean, I think Deshaun Womack can kind of go into this year potentially being a guy right behind guys like Jared Smith. And even if not, you know, a guy that can easily switch off with them, maybe play some D end as well, and really cement a very solid front seven to mix in with Auburn's linebacker core, which is definitely going to be the strength of this defense going into next season, adding in, you know, bringing back DeMarcus Riddick, bringing back Elijah Melendez, Bryce Diaz, and of course the man, the myth, the legend, Xavier Atkins. And you're not done with linebackers either. I mean, you've picked up guys who can help you in that room. And I mean, safety wise, I think safety is a strength of this team as well. I mean, you brought back Anquan Fegans and Eric Winters, and you're picking up transfers like Jack Luttrell, Fred Gaskin, and you're bringing guys back. You're recruiting the high school level extremely well so far. At least I heard Junior Day was a massive success for Golish and company, and everybody I saw talk about it, was all in high regards. And then the offensive line, you lost so many players in the offensive line to the draft, to the portal, and you needed a whole revamping of the offensive line. And what did Alex Golesh and Coach Udanik do? I mean, let me count this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 offensive linemen brought in to help replenish a broken down room of guys that just all left. And the guys who didn't leave, those are guys that Golish told, you're part of what I see here. So I love that. And dude, guys like Cole Skinner is going to be an absolute monster. He was a monster at USF. I expect him to be a monster going forward. I've already mentioned the wide receiver room. I've talked about the wide receiver room. I think if there's a position that it got improved the most, it is the wide receiver room all around the place, getting guys to play on the outside, the inside, gadget guys. And I just love what Golish and Cody Burns have done with this wide receiver room. And of course, it's not even to mention running backs. You brought in guys like Bryson Washington and Nakai Davenport to really help make it stable, to add in with Jeremiah Cobb, Omar Mapson, and Alvin Henderson in the quarterback room. ESPN has already said it. The most important transfer addition of the season or offseason thus far is Byron Brown. And again, I've always been super pro Alex Golesh, and if I'm the only podcast out there doing that, then by God, I'm the only podcast doing that. Alex Golesh has done nothing but prove people wrong. Everyone, the biggest criticism everyone got for Alex Golesh was mentioning that he could not recruit high level talent, that he could only get the USF guys, and he went and he got LSU guys, Ole Miss guys, Notre Dame guys, Michigan State guys, just picking up player after player after player, Missouri guys, Stanford. He's getting talent. Florida State, Oregon State, Baylor, UCLA, North Carolina. He probably isn't even done with North Carolina yet. So all that doubt that was coming into him about how he going to be able to build a staff or build a winning team using only USF guys has been put to shame. Again, I've mentioned this on several occasions. I'm going to have the Indiana hat up until they win the national title on Monday, but he is exhibit A as to why you recruit your guys out of the portal in Kirk Cignetti. He got a bunch of his JMU guys over to Indiana and built a winning program in an off season. So Golish got I could do another count here of just USF guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I've already missed count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I think 11, 12, 13. So yeah, 13. Picked up 13 guys. Kirk Cignetti at Indiana, I think he brought in 12 JMU guys. So it's just one more than the future national title winning head coach brought in. So again, I'm always going to be super pro Alex Golesh until I'm going to say till I get proven wrong, because I don't believe we get proven wrong. Again, and this guys that know more about football than I do, Cole Kublik has mentioned, he loves what Alex Golesh is doing thus far in recruiting his guys. And, if someone doesn't fit the mold of who he wants this team to be, he's told him, you're not fit, and let him walk, let him test the portal. So I'm looking at this staff. I'm looking at this roster. Again, I'm not shooting for the stars in year one, but I'm shooting for improvement. And again, spring ball is going to come and go in a couple of weeks, and we'll have the spring game. We'll have A-Day, which we'll be in attendance for, and getting I've not missed an A-Day in, I don't know if you count last year's A-Day, but I've gone to every A-Day since. I fully expect the Auburn family to really show up for this one, not only just because it's going to be an actual spring game and not just a spring practice, but I think that there's going to be more and more buy-in as it goes along to what Alex Golesh is doing. I mean, the amount of work he's put in to just building this roster. Auburn lost 36 players to the transfer portal, or 38, really, 38, 39, somewhere around there, and was able to bring in 32, which is not even, but I think in terms of overall efficient talent, I think it surpasses. I mean, there's going to be a lot of numbers on here of guys. If I go to the transfer, the portal tracker, that I have on here, I mean, out of the first 10 names on this list, there's 3 of them that really didn't get any playing time this year, if even a snap. If I go down to 15, that list goes up to 5. If I go down, or it actually goes up to 6. Go to 20, it goes up. I mean, you're not losing a lot of, snaps. You're losing guys who just got tired of sitting the bench and didn't want to get developed. And that's the big issue nowadays with college football. I mean, I don't know the exact, I've seen several numbers thrown around the place about guys who are just in the portal and just waiting for a call because they listened to an agent who didn't want nothing more than his own paycheck to come in. And he told a guy to leave. And what did that guy do? He didn't get picked up by anywhere. Now he's going to have to go to the D2 level. So, again, there's going to be a few of these guys that aren't going to go. I mean, you had guys like Kyan Lee who are going to get to Tennessee, Jay Crawford with Ole Miss. You have those level of guys. But guys like, I don't want to really put out any names, but the guys who didn't get any PT at Auburn and were more walk-ons than anything, I mean, they're going to be stuck having to pay for their college while playing football if they go any lower level. And scholarships are not, set in stone once you enter the portal. Only the high-end guys are going to be able to transfer and not have to pay for their college courses anymore, or still, and there's going to be a good chunk of them that still have to. So, and again, like guys like Jacoby Matthews, he was a late transfer addition to last year's class. Didn't get a lot of PT, entered the portal again, and he was able to come back, take his name right back out of it. So, and again, that's a few guys have done that. I mean, Sam Turner did it as well. But I mean, I look at guys like Damari Alston. Something doesn't go right with you. And again, Damari Alston has always been an Auburn guy, but he got fed up and he transferred out, and he's going to Tulsa, which maybe that's the best fit for him. But the transfer portal, it's a broken system that needs to be fixed. But I'm telling you, this has been a different feel of an off season than I've had in quite some time. And it's mostly because, I have never gone to bat for a coach who's not played a game before. Like I was not defending Hugh Freeze like I'm defending Alex Golesh. And again, it's not a, I didn't doubt that Hugh Freeze couldn't win at Auburn, but there was just the level of what Hugh Freeze was coming into Auburn where I was like, I don't know, but I will be cautiously optimistic. Brian Harsin, I didn't have that at all. I didn't know who the guy was until after I did some substantial research after it happened. But Alex Golesh, I'm telling you, if you can go back to the show where he got fired, I mentioned Alex Golesh. He has always been the guy I've talked about. Anytime anyone's ever mentioned to me who I want Auburn to hire, it's been Alex Golesh. And he's done nothing but prove me right thus far. Again, going to basketball games. And last night at the South Carolina game, I think his son was the letter holder, which is awesome. He has just been nonstop recruiting. And that's what his background is. He has always been a recruiter. His first college job was in the recruiting room, helping scout athletes and kind of just, make the calls. And then he started making the way up to play caller. So again, I say all that to say, I don't understand the doubting. Again, if it's just because, Auburn's hurt you more often than it's coddled you, that makes perfect sense. I have a couple of friends of mine that are cautiously pessimistic going into the season, but don't let people saying that picking up USF talent isn't gonna win games, because that USF talent did win games last year and they won some tough ones. It's a scrappy bunch, and he's not just getting USF guys. He's got a. What I say earlier, that's a 13. There's 32 players Auburn picked up. Quick math to that is 19. So to the 13 players from USF, you also got to equivalent to that to the 19 other guys you got from other schools around the place. Again, talent is talent, and he gets noticed, and it's going to get recognized. And that's what Alex Golesh has done thus far this offseason. Again, I am pro Alex Golesh. Again, I'm not going to say Auburn's winning 10 games in 2026, because I don't think that's going to happen. I think that is it's an assumption, overestimate of just how hyped I am for Alex Golesh's career here. But again, if no Auburn fan out there can be upset with the bowl game, whether it's 6-6, 7-5, 8-4, which 8-4 might just get you another contract, but a 7-5 season cannot be too upsetting, because that's a winning record, and you haven't had that since 2019. So I'm always going to be super stoked for Alex Golesh. I will go to bat for him anytime it comes to be. Old Red 2500. I know that is. The doubt comes from getting overhyped too many times before. Again, that's I've made the analogy before. Auburn does feel like that. That abusive ex-girlfriend that you just can't help but falling back into, just to rinse and repeat. Being an Auburn fan is the exact definition of insanity. Just the same thing over and over and over and over again. But again, something feels different, and again, that assumption can be made. Just having your heart broken too many times can lead you to do that. But again, pay more attention to what's going on with Alex Golesh. Watch what he is doing. Watch him. He's Auburn's football coach. There's always going to be cameras on him. He's always out and about. I've seen back-to-back days. I have seen him on a high school campus recruiting. I saw him in Georgia. I saw him in Opelika on Twitter, just talking to coaches and recruiting talent. And pipelines get built that way. Auburn has never been good at recruiting Phoenix City. And guess what? I'm going to love to see Alex Golesh, wherever he's at Phoenix City or Central Phoenix City, talking to whoever their new coach is now, because Nick's stepped down. But, he's out and about, and the staff has bought into him already. Cody Burns is going to be out and about. All these guys are going to be out and about. Warwick's going to be out and about. You have a whole staff of guys. And again, to that same credit, the one thing Hugh Freeze was good at Auburn was recruiting. And again, that if anything about the Hugh Freeze era brought you any smile to your face, it was he was able to recruit talent. But I think he had the same issue that Gus Malzahn had, in the sense of Gus Malzahn could recruit talent too, but the issue came to developing that talent. The talent never got developed. Cam Coleman, I think, was the only one you really saw tangible development out of, and that wasn't because of really coaching. Probably it was mostly because this kid is so dang good at football that he's a freak of nature. So I look back at that, and Golish has the capability to do that if the fans are buying in. And again, the crowd roared for Byron Brown when Auburn basketball let him be the letter holder for a game. They roared for Alex Golesh, and again, the energy and if you doubt Alex Golesh and what he can do, what he can bring to Auburn, just go look at what he did at USF. Go watch any video of him talking about his team at USF. And now imagine you're a USF fan hearing him talk to you about your team that way. You would get electrified by it. So he's going to bring heart and soul to everything he does, and because that's what he's done throughout his entire career. whatever Arkansas was supposed to be getting him before they got Silverfield from Memphis, because Auburn got Golish. Tennessee fans, who I would say for the most part hate Auburn, but I don't guess they don't hate Arkansas, I guess, for some reason. But when Alex Golesh was all over the Arkansas message boards, Tennessee fans were saying, "Oh, you struck gold here. You got a guy who is going to put in 150% in on everything he does, yada yada yada," and just singing his praises for how good of a hire it was. And then Auburn gets him, and now people are more quiet about it because everyone hates Auburn for some reason. But Arkansas fans were all over the Alex Golesh thing, and now I don't want to say the fan base is split. There's definitely not a split. I think it's still majority people are super stoked for what Alex Golesh can do in just a short time span. Again, recruiting comes naturally to him. It always has been. Just going back and listening to him talk about it, it's something that he understands wholeheartedly. And what you're doing is you're getting a guy who is a natural recruiter, and you're making him the head coach of a program that has the facilities and the money and the resources to push in to future talent, to push into the high school talent. And again, with junior day being as much of a success as it was, talked about being, you're going to start to see that. But now in this new era of college football, I mean, we might take a year or so to really see that growth because, it's going to be a prove it stage. Again, year one, this season is going to be tough. It's a tough season ahead, but I mean, there's a lot of question marks in terms of exactly, what does the SEC look like? Again, I'd say there's question marks around that Baylor game. Can DJ Lagway, make the step up to be healthy and take a step in the right direction in his development at a new school at Baylor? What does Florida look like? With a new coach and a new roster. What does Vanderbilt look like after Pavia leaves and Jared Curtis is now the quarterback? Tennessee, I mean, what Josh Heupel's like, and can Alex Golesh, step in the Knoxville and take down his former boss? And I don't want to say it's like a revenge game. I don't think they did not leave on bad terms. Again, Georgia, what does Georgia look like? And again, it's a game in Athens. Auburn's not won there since I was in kindergarten in 2005. LSU, can Kiffin turn them into a winning program? And will it just be an Ole Miss 2.0 where it's just a regular season natty every year? What does Ole Miss look like under Pete Golding, which I will stand by? It's probably the worst hire in the SEC by far. Arkansas, going to be a whole new look team. Mississippi State going into year 3 of Jeff Lebby, but showed a lot of tangible growth into who they are. And it was a very tough team. They got 5 wins, and they fought and earned all 5 of them wins, and they made a lot of teams nervous going into the later half. And then Alabama, I would also say is a question mark. I'm not saying these are question marks. We're not saying Auburn is going to win these games. Question mark comes from we don't know what those teams are going to look like. Again, it's too far ahead to fully do full breakdowns of these teams because we need spring ball. But again, Alabama is going to have a quarterback battle in their office. It's going to be Austin Mack and Keelan Russell. And again, I think Gunnar Stockton still would be the quarterback at Georgia. But Tennessee's going to be looking for a new quarterback. Vanderbilt, again, you imagine Jared Curtis, but it might be a battle there. Florida's going to have a quarterback battle. So Auburn really is one of the few teams on their roster, or just looking down this list of teams of the SEC who are not going to be going into 2026 with a quarterback battle, because you have a guy that your coach is already willing to die for in Byron Brown. So again, I think that, cautious optimism is an okay thing to do, but I think doubting is, doing a disservice to the hard work that Golish has put into building this recruiting class, and able to retain a good chunk of the recruiting class from the last tenure and again, being in the top 30 after where Auburn was, it is mind blowing to me. Auburn was as low as 70 in the high school recruiting class, and whenever with you there, and you lost some guys, but you were able to bring in enough talent to bring you up into the top 30. You're no longer last in the SEC, and again, low bar to really jump there, but he was able to do that on a short turnaround period. So, and you saw him do this transfer portal class, and Auburn now has a top 15 class, number 12 to be exact. And they suffered a lot of losses. You lost your whole quarterback room. You lost a couple running backs. You lost your whole wide receiver room. All your, I think Bryce Kane is the only wide receiver you kept that had a catch last year, unless Sam Turner got one too. You lost your tight ends. Brendan Frazier is going to test his hand in the NFL draft. And I wish him the best of luck with that. Preston Howard went back to Maryland. Hallelujah. And like guys like Hollis Davis who didn't get to see the field at all due to off the field stuff, but he's in the portal as well. You brought back Ryan G, who got a catch, if I'm not mistaken, but that was pretty much it. Offensive line, lost everything. D-line, you lost some. Corners, you lost your two starters, or your two starters and your backup. And he's able to rebuild it. And slowly but surely, everyone, the USF guys were the first ones to or not really flip, but go to Golish and follow Golish. And then everyone thought, oh, it's only USF guys, without giving him time to really bridge the gap and catch up. So again, I feel like I've had a lot of rants this season, being positive towards Golish. Again, there's going to be times to be critical about it. Sometimes, you miss on a guy, but, I don't think Auburn missed on Golish. And going to the season, again, if Auburn loses a tough one to a team that's better than them, again, and we're not going to be sitting here talking about Alex Golesh saying we're close or anything. He's going to tell you like it is about his team. And, I think that he's even mentioned year 2, year 3 is like where he's going to be, it becomes easier to make, like smooth decisions going forward. Again, I think Auburn has potential to be that scrappy ankle biter 5 to 6 to 7 win team going into 2026. And again, I think that comes from just what I know of Alex Golesh, from my research, from the guys that they're picking up to the guys he brought with them from USF. Auburn is going to be a hard-nosed team because they have a hard-nosed coach. Again, the best analogy I've ever given for Alex Golesh is he is the most defensive coordinator-like offensive play caller, just because of how, just energetic he is. Typically, the offensive coordinator coaches, the play caller ones, are like the more chill, laid back ones, kind of, I don't want to say relaxed, but they're not the ones screaming their heads off for the most part. Defensive coordinators are the ones that are on the sideline, yelling, screaming, cussing, doing all that stuff. And what you did with Alex Golesh is you took the defensive coordinator mindset and the offensive coordinator brain, and you put them together, and you have Alex Golesh, which is awesome. And I think it's going to bode very well for Auburn in the future. So we're going to quick little break. Other side of this break, we're talking about some Auburn athletics in terms of basketball, some NFL talk, because Auburn has a quarterback in the playoffs right now. And then, of course, also updating on what's going on with Auburn Gymnastics right now as they take on the Arkansas Razorbacks in Fayetteville. So stay tuned to that, and we're going to be right back.
Are you tired of having to rummage through just clothes after clothes after clothes looking for something to wear? Are you tired of your friends making fun of you for your terrible fashion sense? Well, do we have the shirt for you? Go to thewarreport.com, get your laptop out and do it right now. Go to the shop and get your very own Feelin' Loopy t-shirt as well as your college loop hat, and you can get both of them for only $25 each. Plus shipping and handling, of course. But with that, now back to your regular scheduled program.
To get that merch on thewarreport.com, go to the shop, get your very own college loop merch today. Of course, that's One Way Sport channel. The best way to support the channel and everything we do over here at the College Loop is, of course, by liking the video, commenting on the video. Let me know thing at this Auburn portal class thus far of 32 players. And, of course, by subscribing to the YouTube channel, help us get to our next big milestone of 2,000 subscribers. Hoping to hit that by the end of 2026. So, super stoked to reach that milestone. I was super stoked to reach 1,000. It was I was sitting there patiently watching the the YouTube channel just in the refreshing whenever we got really close to it. So absolutely super stoked for the growth we've seen here at the College Loop. Everyone loving the off-season conversations, which is awesome as well. Teresa, I'm late watching gymnastics. I have it on my screen right now. I just saw Auburn got the lead back, but of course it's because floor takes a little bit longer. But yeah, going back and forth. I don't know if Auburn can. You really need something to happen with Arkansas on the floor to get the win there. But actually, I guess we'll start with gymnastics. Currently, Auburn is winning 176.325 to 167.675. But of course, that is as we are getting updates. I need to have it on, but I just have it updating on the side here. Auburn started off kind of on the bars, which is kind of put us behind. But I think we've kind of answered back pretty well. Vault still did pretty well. I would say floor did okay. But again, it's really hard to compete on the away side of things. Home field advantage, home mat advantage is kind of a big deal in terms of gymnastics. But again, I'll have this up. I'll update whenever we get to the final scores. But it sucks playing on the mat. When you match the number of people who have gone, yeah. I think it was like a 1 point. I think Auburn's down by 1. So again, it's a tough loss. It was not a bad loss. Arkansas is still a very good team. I think they're top 12. I think they're 12th. But yeah, update gymnastics as we get the scores rolling in. Auburn basketball, of course, took down the South Carolina Gamecocks yesterday, and an ugly fashion, 71-67. And somehow, some way, Auburn was able to do it by shooting 10% from the 3-point line, which is disgusting. Absolutely gross. It's disgusting. It's the best thing I could. Ugh. Is all I gotta say. Of course, a win's a win in the SEC to some extent, but that is a hideous and ugly way to win. Of course, massive shout out though to one Philip Jovic for leading Auburn in scoring with 23 and a breakout game for him, which would love to see this kind of him build into that going forward. Again, Auburn has been super inconsistent thus far this season, which, comes with the territory of, new coach. And I just think this team had some big weaknesses going into the season. So I'm not fully shocked by it, but again, it's Auburn's lost some heartbreakers this season thus far. Blake Muchalek scored 0 points in 6 minutes. Simon Walker didn't score anything. Elijah Freeman didn't score anything. For some reason, Simon Walker got in for 2 minutes and didn't even take a shot. I would love to see more Simon Walker, just because he's a shooter. He's a shooter. Elijah Freeman scored 0 points on 22 minutes. You talk about this guy's been so electric all season long. 6 rebounds, which is big. Auburn needed to be a better rebounding team, but shot 0 for 5 from the field. Sebastian Williams-Adams shot 3 of 9. Keyshawn Hall was 2 for 7. Keyshawn Murphy was 4 for 7. Todd Pettiford was 2 for 8. Kevin Overton was 3 for 8. And if I read those numbers out to anybody, no one in their right mind would think Auburn won this game. And even then, I mean, they just willpowered their way to a win. I mean, they made 10 more free throws and they won by 4. So that comes down to it. I mean, South Carolina shot better than Auburn from the 3-point line. It just came down to the free throws, and that was pretty much it. Auburn got out rebounded. They got out assisted. They forced turnovers though, which is big. It's just an ugly game. But win's a win. Up next for Auburn is, of course, Ole Miss, which will take place on Tuesday. So we'll preview that on the Tuesday edition of the College Loop podcast. It'll be at Ole Miss, and hopefully you find an offense. Again, right now Auburn is 11-7, 2-3 in the SEC. You need some consistency. You need some absolute consistency going forward. And you would love to. I love having it to where, at any point, at any given time of the season, you can have, someone take over. But this year, Auburn has had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 7 leading, like different leading scorers this year. So it's not just been a consistent one. And it's just been, like even Keyshawn Hall has had a couple of games in a row where he's not really been a factor scoring. And Philip Jovic has been inconsistent and found a way to score 23 points. So again, I don't really know how to analyze this Auburn basketball team. They just find ways to either win or they find ways to lose, and there's no in between on any given day of the week that they're playing. So on to Ole Miss. Should be it's a winnable game, and you need to start adding some of these wins together so you can build some momentum, because you have some tough sludging ahead afterwards. Saturday, you play Florida, which is a revenge game. You're going to be in the swamp. They beat you twice. They beat you in the SEC tournament. They beat you in the Final Four. And then you got Texas on the January 28th on the Wednesday. And then that Saturday starts your gauntlet of at Tennessee, home versus Bama, home versus number 10 Vanderbilt, and on the road to take on Arkansas, who are going to be pretty PO'd at the fact that you beat them by 22 on your turf and won another shot at you. So got to start picking up some steam, and you need to do it quick, because good Lord, that game was ugly. And in terms of games that weren't ugly and hard to watch, Auburn women's basketball able to take down and upset Alabama, which, again, big time. I'm going to go and say it. I didn't think they could do it. I thought it was going to be, not on the same line as the Texas game, but probably something along the same lines as that Mississippi State game or the Tennessee game, where they're going to go blow for a little bit, and then the better team just kind of takes away at the end. But no, they fought and they fought and they fought, and they, the mindset, again, what we're talking about Coach Golish, the mindset for Auburn is, they're just going to fight longer than you, and they're going to fight harder than you. And they shot decently well from the field. They shot amazingly from the free throw line. 12 of 14, only missed 2 the whole game. That's 85% from the free throw line, which, again, absolutely big time. I hope I say that for Katie Lee with 16 points leading the team. Caitlin Duhan with 10 before she fouled out. You had Maya Petticord with 7, Harris with 9, Koulibaly with 6, and you were able to shut down what was a very, very good shooting Alabama team. So absolutely big time. Again, you had second chance opportunities. You got those. You got 10 offensive rebounds. You out rebounded them as a team. You forced turnovers. Great basketball. Had the lead for 33 minutes of the game, and never really let it up for 5 minutes, but you were tied for a minute 34. And you went back and forth with them for a little bit, and you got the lead, you kept it, and you ran away with it. So absolutely big time for Coach Vic and company. Again, big time up next for them. They'll be on the road on the 22nd. So that would be Thursday, if not mistaken. Yep, Thursday, taking on a very, very good Vanderbilt team, number 5 in the nation. So again, on the road is a bit different story. But again, I love what I've seen thus far from Vickers and what he has built so far. Again, first year, 13-6, 2-3 in the SEC, and kind of the dichotomy of that. I mean, Auburn men's basketball kind of has a similar record and the same record in the SEC play, but a team that's been good is playing mediocrely and inconsistently. As a team that was bad is now, ankle biting their way to some upsets and, moving forward and getting better and better each game. So again, positive end, negative end on the other side as we move on. But yeah, for Auburn basketball, ugly win, ugly win, ugly win. And hopefully Ole Miss, you can pose a nicer looking win than that, and probably shooting a little bit better as well. That'd probably be something that would 10% from the 3-point line is absolutely insane. And again, if I told anyone that Auburn shot 10% from the 3-point line and won, I don't think they'd believe me. Even I can't even say. I keep saying free throw line, a 3-point line. That's insane. But Auburn Gymnastics still going on. Auburn has a lead, but I just need to know exactly what to expect. I think Auburn is done, just kind of waiting for that last floor exercise from Arkansas to get it. Again, it was a 1-point game anyways, so it'll be tough. It'll be tough to get it. You just need a very bad performance from them, or just to dock them a couple. But I think that'll do it. Yeah, Auburn loses by a little over 1 point in the meet. And again, as Teresa was saying, 1 point is huge in gymnastics. They're getting better. This is a team that lit it up in the first meet. So again, I'm not gonna be set. SEC is loaded in gymnastics. If you have not watched SEC gymnastics, it's loaded. I would say there's probably not a sport in the SEC that is more loaded in terms of talented and good teams than the SEC. Especially when you add in Oklahoma and Texas into the mix now, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So, yeah, I don't think Auburn could pull it off. Again, it's tough to win away meets. It's tough. Yeah, aren't going to win. There's no mathematical way. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing on my end. A little over 1, but still a very, very good squad. Still a very, very good squad going forward. I would love to just kind of go through it and just get some analysis in on what exactly went wrong, but I can kind of see it with getting a lower score on bars and then getting a lower score on vault as well. Kind of being it. Bars hurt, which is kind of shocking to really say that. 9 of the top 12 are SEC. There you go. That's gymnastics in the SEC for you. 9 of the top 12 are in the SEC. So, not be too upset. I don't think they're going to drop far down for it. If they drop at all, really. Again, you want to have all your meets at home because there is a biasness. As someone who's bode witness to the biasedness, whatever, it doesn't a real word, I don't think, of judges in gymnastics, it's insane. There's been a lot of times where Auburn scored a 10. That Yurchenko double last week from Sophia Bell was a 10. They hold on to those 10s. They don't let them go. That was a 10 last week from Sophia Bell. But what do I know? Still have some girls out on injury, so it should get better when they get back. Yeah. I forgot. Who is I forgot. There was someone last week. They either did the bar routine or they did the vault routine, and they did like in a cast and didn't compete the rest of the time. I can't remember. I hate that I can't remember her name because I was like actively like paying attention to the meet. I just can't remember her name top of my head right now, but still a good team, good squad overall. But as we get close to ending the show, I do want to shout out Auburn legend, top 5 Auburn quarterback of all time, Jarrett Stidham. And, I hate how it happened. Bo Nix goes down with a broken ankle. And again, I was rooting for Bo a little bit. I also hate Sean Payton as a Panthers fan. I hate Sean Payton to death. But for as much as I love Bo Nix, that man right there, I will go to bat for Jarrett Stidham more than I'll go to bat for a lot of people in this world. So Jarrett Stidham, Bo Nix goes down after beating the Buffalo Bills in overtime, and now Jarrett Stidham is the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos. And might I add, barring anything that happens in the game going on over here, I mean, I guess nothing can really happen. And of the teams that are playing or that are done right now, Auburn is the only team in the state of Alabama that is producing a conference championship caliber quarterback in the NFL. So, suck it, Alabama. That's all I can say. But yeah, Jarrett Stidham, huge shout out to Jarrett Stidham, get a chance to take on the New England Patriots and the AFC Championship next week, and it'd be awesome. And, I think I've ranked my top 5 Auburn quarterbacks all time, and it's Cam, it's Pat, which happy birthday to the late Pat Sullivan, a legend. Pat Sullivan, number 2. 3 is Jason Campbell. 4 is Nick Marshall. Number 5 to me will be and always will be Jarrett Stidham. And it might be my youth doing that, but Dew is an absolute legend. An absolute dog in that 2017 team. I have said this. I think the 2017 team would beat the 2013 team. And I don't think it'd be remotely close. That team had everything. It had Kerryon Johnson, Darius Slayton, that defense, that O-line. 2017 team would beat 2013. I don't want to say by a substantial margin, but it'd be a touchdown or so. Two scores. I'll get 2 scores. 2017 Auburn would beat 2013 Auburn by 2 scores. Team of destiny aside. And so I'll leave that as my hot take of the week. But yeah, let me know who are your top 5 Auburn quarterbacks of all time as we get ready to depart here, as I believe that is now the final. Yeah, so Auburn definitely, lost by more than 1 point. So does suck, but Auburn Gymnastics get better for it. Graba has this team locked down. So stay tuned for the next meet, which happens, I think, on Friday. This one's on Friday. This weird day being on Sunday doing talking about gymnastics, while it's happening. We're going to go and get out of here. I want to thank everyone who turned into College Loop and commented in the stream as well. So we're going to go and get out of here. I hope everyone enjoys their long weekend. Tomorrow it's MLK Day. Tuesday will not be a live stream. I have a basketball game I have to attend, so we'll be pre-recording that show, putting it up at the same now time at 6:00. So try to preview Auburn basketball, preview some I don't think women's basketball. Then we did that on Thursday show. And again, any updates we get from Auburn football and just how electric has been on the transfer portal, we'll do that tomorrow, or record it tomorrow and put it up for Tuesday. So Tuesday pre-record. Thursday I'll have to check my schedule. It might be pre-recorded as well. Again, high school basketball season is weird schedule. Weird basketball is just weird scheduling. You don't have a single day set aside to anything. I guess national championship predictions. I'm going to predict Indiana to win. I think I've been pretty open about that for weeks now about that. But go and get out of here. Thank you to everyone who's tuned into the Summit College podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe on the video or the channel. And of course, follow us over there on the audio version of the show on Spotify. Also on social media as well. Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, the works. All those at The College Loop. Again, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Help us get to our next big milestone of 2,000 subscribers. Hopefully able to reach that by the end of the 2026 year. And again, I'm Dylan Lark. I will on Twitter. Got me on Instagram as well at Dylan DYLRCK. Catch everything I'm doing over there as well. And with that being said, thank you as always. And as always, War Eagle.